All right, well, good afternoon. My name is Mike Benner, Public Information Manager here at the Portland Police Bureau. As I mentioned in the media advisory that went out this morning, we are expecting a street racing and takeover event to happen this weekend in Portland. And we expect a large number of people to flock to the city from across the region. We've seen that these events can lead to traffic deaths, gunfire, so on and so forth. And because of that, the Portland Police Bureau, along with many of our partners, cannot and will not stand by idly as out-of-towners and even people in our own community use our streets and our neighborhoods as a playground for criminal behavior. We have a number of speakers here this afternoon. Chief Bob Day is here, Lieutenant Chad Stensgaard from North Precinct. We also have the police chief from Gresham, Travis Goldberg, and the assistant chief, Erica Nilsson from Vancouver. We'll kick things off with Chief Day. Chief.
Thanks, Mike. Appreciate it. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for being available, and a big thank you to our partner agencies, as you can see, standing here with us. I just am so appreciative of the regional effort that all of our public safety leaders are taking towards making sure that not just Portland, but really all of our communities are safe for all of us that love to live and work and play here. As Mike mentioned, we anticipate this to be a significant event this weekend here in Portland. Obviously, it involves vehicles, so it could go to other jurisdictions, but we're committed 100% to making sure that all of us can experience the city in a safe, equitable way. One of my primary goals as chief is reducing crime and the fear of crime. And as Mike already outlined, and I'm sure Lieutenant Stensgaard can touch on, there is a degree of violence that has been associated with these events in addition to just really poor driving behavior. So we want to be able to interdict that and obviously mitigate violent behavior. But also, these events can be seen as chaotic, they can be frustrating, they can absolutely not only pose a risk to our community, but they can interrupt traffic patterns, prevent people from getting to appointments or meetings or, et cetera, other areas of emergency, even impacting emergency personnel and their ability to respond when these major thoroughfares are shut down. So we're going to be really intentional with our efforts, not just with the folks standing here and that you're going to hear from in a minute. We're also grateful for Superintendent Cotting, Oregon State Police, their partnership, and really the communication we're having up and down the I-5 corridor, both as people come from outside the region and as we address people who live here, obviously. So I'm going to turn it over to Lieutenant Stensgaard. I just want to once again thank everybody for their participation. Looking forward to be able to provide a safe evening and a safe weekend for all of us.
Thanks, Chief. Good afternoon. I'm here to provide a little bit of background on what the event is. This event has been titled the West Coast Invitational. This event was held here last year. During that event, we had participants coming from Oregon, Washington, Idaho, California, basically all up and down the West Coast. We had as many as 1,000 people turn out for this particular event. These events are dangerous. These are young, inexperienced drivers that come with very high-powered cars. They bring guns to these events. This event is a social media-driven type event. The people that participate are doing it for social media likes. It's to increase their influencer status, to get sponsors on social media platforms, and to make money. To kind of give you an idea how last year went, associated with this event was a homicide, 2 shootings, a fatal car crash, and disruption to many emergency services, including fire and EMS. Things to think about if you are out and in that area. If you stumble across this event, go the other way. We are encouraging people who maybe have an interest in going to this event to not go. If you are the driver of a vehicle that is blocking a roadway to help facilitate this, you are subject to criminal penalties. If you are a person doing burnouts in an intersection, you are participating in an organized street racing event. It's a Class A misdemeanor. There are felony and misdemeanor crimes that are associated with that, and if you are captured, you will be held accountable for it. these types of events are growing across the country, and us as law enforcement are making every step, or doing everything we can to provide the community with safety and security. We have stood up our incident management team. Again, we've been in works with our law enforcement partners to, I guess, get as many resources as possible to go out and deal with this. So if you do, again, stumble across this event, there's no need to call 911. We are aware that it's happening. So we don't want to bog down 911 or non-emergency unless you are in a situation where you feel like your life is in danger. So I think that's about all I have.
Chief Goldberg. Good afternoon, everyone. Travis Goldberg, Chief of Police for the City of Gresham. As I've often shared with all of you, when Portland is impacted, we are all impacted. And so I think it's very important that as partners in law enforcement, we make sure that we're available when Portland calls for our assistance, and for that matter, for any agency in the region asks for our help. And in this case, we're more than willing and ready to provide services, so we plan on participating at a minimum tomorrow night and throughout the weekend as much as possible. As I have told you guys before, and I truly believe this, together we are better. And when we are able to provide resources to help Portland manage these type of events or things that could impact not only Portland, but the surrounding communities, we're going to make that effort to do it. So we appreciate the partnership that's ongoing with our safety partners throughout the region, and we remain committed to ensuring not only Portland is safe, but Gresham is safe and the surrounding communities are safe as well. So I thank you, and with that I'll keep it brief and turn it over to Erica. Thank you.
Good afternoon. I am Erica Nielsen, the Assistant Chief for Vancouver Police Department. So the first thing I'd like to do today is say thank you to Portland for bringing us all together. As Travis Goldberg said, we are better as a team. We are much more effective in fighting any kind of crime, but we are definitely more effective in dealing with street racing together as a team. The Vancouver Police Department will have extra patrols out over the weekend. We will be writing citations. We will be arresting people. We will be towing and citing cars and seizing cars as the law allows for those that decide to come out and do these illegal activities. Please don't come to these activities if you know about them. If you're thinking about being a participant or you're thinking about just watching them, find something else to do this weekend. This is not the place that you want to be. Street racing is dangerous. It's dangerous to participate in, it's dangerous to observe, and it's dangerous for the community as a whole. Washington State Patrol will also be out with us doing extra patrols and helping us along the I-5 corridor and 205 this weekend. Thank you also to the officers. For Vancouver, we will be doing a whole lot of overtime this weekend to handle the calls and the extra patrols that we're asking for because of this particular event. And I want to say thank you to my officers for spending the time and the dedication. They spend the extra hours to keep the city of Vancouver and the region safe, and they cannot go unnoticed, and I just want to say thank you for them.
Yeah, not to be redundant, but thank you to all our partners, because obviously this event is happening here in Portland, but you have to get to Portland. And these cars and these folks are going to be rolling through Southern Oregon, rolling through Southwest Washington. So without our partners, this effort and this mission would not be possible. So thank you very much. We do have a few minutes for some Q&A, so just please state your name and direct your question at who you have it for. Tony?
I'm Thenby. I'm with K2 News, and what we're wondering is what constitutes illegal participation in the street race? So, like, what watching is that, basically?
So watching itself is not illegal. But if you are the driver of a vehicle that is blocking an intersection, that is illegal. If you are doing a burnout in an intersection under Senate Bill 615, it states that if you break traction in front of 2 or more people, that is felony level reckless driving. You are subject to arrest, and it makes your car subject to asset forfeiture and seizure.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, no, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. My name's Ariel Yafazi, reporter for Point 6. Thank you guys for being here and giving us this wonderful information, but I understand people might be wondering where they can maybe watch out for this, areas that they can avoid. You may not be able to give a specific location, but if the general area, that might be helpful for people trying to avoid.
Sure. Popular areas are Marine Drive, 122nd and Marine Drive, 158th and Airport Way, I-5 and Marine Drive. All of these locations are very open road and have been a very common stomping ground for not only drag racing, but these street takeover events.
And so just real quick little follow-up to that, there have been social media posts, as you said. Do they list a specific location, or are they kind of keeping that private for now?
They usually keep that pretty private.
Okay.
Zaim?
Hi, Zaim Sheikh with Oregon. Lieutenant Stengard, you've said that, you've seen, at least this year, takeovers kind of pop up almost every weekend. Have you seen an increase in particular this year, and how at all has the state law that bans street racing has helped police efforts determine?
The ability to tow cars and seize them as asset forfeiture has helped us make great strides. Most of these people, their car is their life, and if you take that away, it's a significant impact. So the street takeover events themselves are happening more frequently because they're becoming more popular on social media. Again, it's that desire to increase your influencer status, to make money, to get sponsorships. And so that's kind of what's driving behind what all of these events.
John?
Yeah, John Adams, KGW. Whenever it's hard to say exactly what intersection these events are going to take place, describe the difficulty in combating it, not knowing exactly where this is going to fire up at, and is there a certain amount of officers that are going to be allocated this weekend to being on this mission?
So I'm not inclined to talk tactics. It's not good to show the other team your playbook. But we are fully staffed and prepared for whatever happens to turn out that night. This is not something that we haven't dealt with before. But again, with our law enforcement partners, we are pooling as many resources as possible.
So going on, Ariel again with Coin 6 News. So without getting into specifics, as you said, you can't give away too many tactics. What have you learned from previous street takeovers, especially last year's, where there was a homicide, a shooting, and you said, and a wreck, I believe you mentioned. I mean, what have you learned that you'll possibly use this weekend without getting into the specifics?
Again, it's hard to, you learn something new every time you do one of these. And I think what we continue to learn is the lack of due regard for the community's safety. It's scary when people are in these intersections, they're doing burnouts, and they're hitting people that are standing around the outside. They're bringing guns to these not only for protection, but again as a show of force. And so what it has taught us is we need to be very cautious when we approach these events. We need to make sure that our focus is protecting the community and doing the means necessary to take care of that.
Jody Land, OPB. This has been a problem for multiple years in Portland now that you've been combating. Do you feel like current enforcement tactics or punishments are working? Are you actually seeing that decrease that you've been trying to get for a few years now?
So the great thing is the DA's office is fully prosecuting everybody that we put in front of them. We have a specified DA that handles all of these cases. That DA is present for all these street takeover events, and so the partnership with the DA's office in ensuring that there is prosecution that happens has been very helpful for us.
Can you provide specifics as to, like, if there has been a decrease, how much it's been by in, say, the past year or so?
I don't have those numbers, so I can't speak to that.
I do want to mention, though, that along those lines, I mean, this goes back, as I said earlier, to the fear of crime conversation, right? The appearance that this is happening unchecked is just, unacceptable. That's why it's so important that we be out there and we be engaged and that we send a message that this isn't going to be tolerated. Granted, I readily admit that none of us can do it all. None of us can do it all on our own and even all together. We get 1,000 people or 500 people, whatever the case may be, it's going to be challenging. But we're 100% committed, even if it's just one person at a time and one arrest at a time, to make sure that we can once again facilitate that safe environment. So I think just showing up and being part of the conversation does have an impact. We can get you numbers as far as, arrests and whether they've been escalating or de-escalating or whatever that might be. But, there's a combination of both the fear of crime and reducing the street racing activity. Yes?
If I may just go off of that, so seeing as this new law is in effect, or rather new law, but street takeovers are still going up, did the actual criminalization really create a deterrent effect?
Well, as we said, we'll have to get you some numbers to see to compare that, but what I would say is that, you know, anytime we can build in accountability to the system, that definitely sends a message to those that want to participate. And we have agreement, as mentioned, with the district attorney's office through follow-through and prosecution. A basic premise of policing in our country is around immediacy and certainty. That's why when you put a police car on the side of the road, people slow down, because they think that there's gonna have to be an action that's gonna be taken if they're speeding. And by paying attention and being engaged, when we show up on these scenes, it does cause dispersal, it does cause people to respond, because they know there's gonna be accountability. That's a basic premise. You know, our laws are designed to provide a certain level of predictability for all of us. When I came to work today, I didn't just randomly pick one side of the road or the other to drive on. We behave in this manner so that we can provide safe travel, safe use of the public space for all of us. And so we will continue to be diligent, to be present, to be enforcing these laws, and we believe that they are and will continue to have an impact.
John, final question.
Yeah, this is a kind of a unique situation, not a, something that officers encounter every single day. Have officers received any specialized training to deal with these street takeovers specifically?
I know you guys have created this, but I don't know the details of that.
There's been no specialized training. It's trial and error. We've been dealing with street racing for the last 5 years. The last 2 years, we've seen a significant increase in the number. And again, it goes back to the more you participate, the more you do it, the better off you get. And again, can't talk tactics, but you know, we're prepared.
Certainly the mobility of these events make it challenging, right? I mean, you know, they're not only moving around the region, but then they're also in real time happening, right? I mean, there's movement occurring, so it's hard to have a static plan or a static train or a static situation. I really want to praise the Portland Police Bureau and the men and women that have been really taking this on and been diligent to find a safe, effective way, a safe way for our officers, but also a safe way for our community to be able to, at the same time, enforce these laws. So it is a continued work in progress. Other agencies are looking to us and learning from us, and we're, of course, sharing that information because, as stated earlier, I think by Chief Goldberg and Assistant Chief Chiefnson, that, you know, this is not just something that's happening here. It can happen anywhere. So thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Chiefs, and thank you, Lieutenant, for speaking today, and thank you to all of you, because we cannot share this message with the community or the participants without your help, so thank you. We appreciate you being here. And don't run off. In the back of the room, Sergeant Allen will be providing some sound on another story that we're sending a news release out on shortly. And lastly, Sergeant Allen is working through the weekend, and he'll be part of our incident management team and providing updates at night on the efforts this weekend. So again, thank you for coming. Appreciate it. Thank you, everyone. Appreciate it.
Thanks a lot. Of course.